Buccaneer. We set? Ismail?
Moment. It's logging.
Dun.
Here we go.
It's good? We're good to go? All right. Finally. Well, that was a bit of a hustle, so I appreciate that my boys were able to help me out. And as usual, guys, I'm really delighted to bring you a treat today. And my guest, actually, I made his acquaintanceship only yesterday. I met this guy yesterday, but I've heard a lot of good things about him. He is an MMA pioneer in Finland. He is also very renowned in the jiu-jitsu community.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where your story has started.
Yes.
I'm really pleased to bring you today, Lemar Genghis Khan. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
My brother, how you been?
I've been good, I can't lie. Of course, I'm a little devastated about my last MMA fight because I lost it, but now I'm back on the grind and I'm ready to make a comeback.
Was it a split decision? Hayani lost, right?
Yes, it was. And
it was cage.
Yeah, it was in cage 62. So it was like 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you were back scrapping like yesterday.
Yeah. I needed
it. Son, you were like, I gotta get a fight. I just fight something. Fight something.
It was exactly that. Like I need to like.
Was it a little itch?
Yeah, there was I needed just that feeling to prove myself that I can perform well still, because in that fight I didn't think I performed well, especially like for my standards. So that's why I'm trying to compete in the other sports now, because I'm signed to cage. So I can't fight outside the cage when it comes to MMA.
Yeah.
So now when there's boxing, I'm there. When there's grappling, I'm there. When there's Thai boxing, I'm there. Whatever comes,
you gotta leave some room for the rest. You just keep stepping from sport to sport, and just taking everything. Just collecting little hobbies, just like that. Man,
I love competing. That's the thing.
Has it always been in your nature to compete, or where does this come from?
Actually, not always, but once I started more like combat sports, then it came. Because when I was young, I played basketball and football. In basketball, I was kind of competitive, but in football, I didn't care at all. I just
you just did it for fun.
I just did it for fun, and because my dad made me. It was more like keeping myself healthy than like, oh, this is my passion.
So did your story then in combat sports, did it start with wrestling?
It started with jiu-jitsu and submission grappling. It's wrestling plus locks and chokes and guard playing. So there's not that much wrestling and takedowns.
But you were doing no-gi mostly?
Yeah, I like no-gi more. But when I started, I did both.
So at what point did you... give us a little bit of a chronological time frame. When did you start your jiu-jitsu career?
So there's like beginning courses. That are like 2 times a week for 2 months. I started that one when I was 14 or 15, and immediately after the beginner's course, I went straight to compete, and I got choked out in 10 seconds, unconscious, and I was like,
that was a quick step to competition. Actually.
Yeah, because I was so dumb back then. And my coaches said there's an amateur competition coming up. In my mind, amateur means like they don't know anything. I didn't know it means like people who doesn't do it professionally. So they were like, there's amateur competition coming up, come and see. And I was like, no, I want to compete there. And they're like, okay, let's go. And then because in the beginner's course, I was like, I was a smaller guy because I was so young, but I was very competitive, and I trained a lot outside the grappling. So I was kind of athletic back then.
So you already had the foundation for it.
Basically. I was performing well against the other beginners, but in my mind, I was like, I'm going to perform the same way against anybody, because I hadn't felt like a real purple belt or brown belt or black belt. So in my mind, I was like a killer.
I think now you're are you a brown belt?
Now I'm a brown belt.
Yeah, because I saw one of your jiu-jitsu matches, but this was from 2019.
Okay.
So it was a bit old.
Yeah, it's old. My latest one was about 9 months ago,
Yeah.
and I competed then in no-gi Finnish Open,
Yeah.
and actually in the open weight class it was like it wasn't such a good performance, but in my own weight class I actually performed well, even though I didn't won my own weight class. In the final I lost to a guy called Behnam Rasaki. He's a 3-time world champion, 4-time European champion.
Where's he from?
He's originally from Tajikistan,
Yeah.
but he lives in Sweden, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was very good, and I saw like how much he toys around with everybody else. So I knew he was very good, but I performed very well with him. But I made a tactical error in the last seconds. I was trying to go for like sweep for sweep, but I ran out of time, so I lost 2-0 to him.
Just by points.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, I can win this guy. I'm gonna go to the open weight class, and we are gonna meet again. But then I got eliminated just one match before I could have gone have my rematch.
So you had to sort of reassess everything and then get back into the game.
Yeah.
At what point did you then start pursuing MMA?
It was like in 2017, I had my first MMA fight, but I still competed so much more in jiu-jitsu and submission wrestling. Like after the first MMA fight, I knew I'm gonna go to MMA sooner or later. But like for a few years, I just wanted experience in the grappling world. So after 2017, my next fight was 2018, and after 2018, I was like kind of consistent with MMA, but I still didn't let grappling go. I still had like passion to compete in jiu-jitsu and submission grappling at the highest level. But of course, it's kind of hard to compete with jiu-jitsu guys when they are training jiu-jitsu 24/7, and I'm kind of hopping between MMA and jiu-jitsu. And then it's hard to compete with the MMA guys when I'm hopping between them two. But
you're still sharpening your tools either way.
Yeah.
Especially since jiu-jitsu is your bread and butter.
Yeah.
In this case, so if you have that set on the side and you're constantly working on it, I think it works in your favor.
Yeah, it definitely gave me like an area in MMA where I know I'm in control. But I would say like about 1.5 years ago, I have completely changed my focus on MMA. So like I haven't done that much jiu-jitsu. I haven't done that much submission grappling. Sometimes I go to spar, but it's not like I'm not really putting the gi on, and I'm not really yes, and I'm not really trying to learn tactical things about jiu-jitsu matches, like guard pulls and like this. The things I'm trying to learn are those things that are applicable to MMA.
So all the omoplatas and berimbolos, they're not right now in your in the tricks up your sleeve or something.
Yeah, most of them are not, but actually omoplata I still sometimes do.
You pull it in sparring and stuff.
It's like if I get taken down, it's like it's been a sweep that has been been working for me, the omoplata sweep.
But like okay, so a little bit of a background story about yourself.
Yeah.
You're from Afghanistan,
yes.
Right? Were you born in Finland?
No, I was born in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Then when I was 2 years old, my family moved here to Finland. So I don't really have any memories outside of Finland, and I have never visited Afghanistan or Pakistan. But like my parents, during my childhood, my parents, my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, they were all like very strict about our culture. So like it was like very strong in our household.
Yeah.
Like
discipline.
Yeah.
Duty, honor.
Yeah, you have to like focus on your studies, your sport. You can't forget your own language and like
respect. I really appreciate that, by the way, because I've noticed, especially with Gen Z and Generation Alpha, especially these young ones that have been born post 2000. For a lot of them, they have unfortunately forgotten wherever they come from.
Yeah.
They have a lot of kids I've met lately that they prefer to speak maybe Finnish, or English is becoming quite popular as well.
Yeah, and actually, I would be like that if I'm being honest, because if whenever my parents aren't around, I speak Finnish with my siblings.
Yeah.
But when my parents are around, they are like, speak your own language. Like you can
They
speak
give you
it.
that look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's their like the way they raised us. Like it had a big influence on how I do things and how my siblings are doing.
And you speak Pashto, right?
Yes, Pashto. And there's another language that's very dominant in Afghanistan. It's Dari.
There you go.
And my parents, and like all the older generations, they know both. They can speak both. But
both languages belong to the Iranian language families. Or?
In Iran, they speak Farsi, which is Persian, and it's very identical to Dari. If I could speak Dari, I can speak with the Iranians.
Yeah.
Because all my Afghan friends who speak Dari, they can speak with people from Tajikistan. Or
these languages have been around for 5,000 years.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yes.
Actually, now that I think about it. What about Pashto? Is it similar to what language?
No, it's not similar at all.
It's its own thing.
It's like its own thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And especially the Pashto that we speak, my family, there's
like
different accents.
Or?
Yeah, there's different types of Pashto also. So our Pashto is even harder than regular Pashto.
And you guys use the Arabic alphabets, or
yes,
and you read from right to left, right?
Yes. And when I was a kid, I remember from Monday to Friday we had regular school.
Yeah.
On Saturday and Sunday we had like
there's no weekend for you.
Yeah, no weekend, and it was so hard to learn for me.
Yeah.
Like the Afghan alphabet and reading and writing and all them, because there's so much letters, and it's it was hard for me for some reason. Like English was very easy for me to learn, but my own language was like hard to write and read.
But the media also helps because you're watching movies and TV shows in English, so
yes,
that's got to play a factor.
Yeah, that's true. But but after I don't know what age, when we grew up a little bit and we stopped doing it, like every weekend studying our own language, like right now I can't write it anymore. Like I have forgotten it, so I'm like a little bit disappointed on myself.
No, but I think it's easy to bring those things back though.
Yeah,
it just takes practice and time.
Yeah, I should study again.
Just pick up Duolingo and then 50 minutes a day or something like that.
Exactly.
Do you still speak the language with your siblings sometimes, or family?
With my family, all like my aunts, my uncles, my parents, my grandparents. With them, of course, Pashto. Like it's kind of with my mom's, we sometimes jokingly speak Finnish because like we are like, you need to learn Finnish because she has a little bit like foreign Finnish.
Yeah.
So we just jokingly speak Finnish with her.
Solidarity with her. My Finnish, I've been here for 15 years, and as you can see, I gave up. Just start speaking English right now. You know. So I know.
You surprised me when yesterday when we met. You started speaking English with me, so
you spoke to me in English as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, he probably doesn't speak Finnish.
Yeah.
But when you started to speak Finnish, it sounded like normal Finnish.
I don't know why.
I was like so shocked. I was like, this guy speaks Finnish. Why did he speak English with me?
No, it's work in progress. But to be honest, I'm not surprised that since you're pursuing combat sports, it kind of makes sense since you're from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And this is a land that has been called the graveyard of empires. You know?
Yeah.
From the Achaemenids to Alexander of Macedon, you've got, the Seljuk Turks or the Safavids, or, you've got, the Mongols have been there and they found it difficult to control.
Yeah,
so
it's hard.
You guys
all
are
the
battle-hardened
mountains.
people.
Yeah. It's the same like when you think about Finland, it's like the environment, it's so special. Like the people who are from there, they know their environment so much better. Like it's so much mountains and everything. So
the Finns have their forests, which played in their favor during the Jatkosoda.
Yeah, Finns has their forest and the they are used to the winter and the
Yeah,
cold.
like really horrible winters.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So when you have like people who have never experienced that, trying to conquer an area
Mm.
where like the people who have lived there for their whole lives, it's like it's hard. And like in Afghanistan, there's a lot of resources that other countries want.
Say
So
less, absolutely.
so they are
Absolutely.
trying to.
They tried and they failed.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
trying. So
I mean, 20 years, and they spent what was it, 2 to 3 trillion US dollars on
Okay.
trying to, fully subjugate
Yeah.
Afghanistan, but it all was for nothing because in the
Yeah.
end it was just blood spill. On
yeah,
both
yeah,
sides.
yeah. Like the war has been going for so long. Like it.
I mean, I don't really recall any period in history where Afghanistan has seen any semblance of serenity. There hasn't been a period of peace.
Yeah.
It was constantly under invasion. Like I was just reading recently how Russia and Great Britain, they were for almost 100 years, they were just playing a tug of war. Like they were just pulling each other.
Yeah.
With Afghanistan,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you said, like it's been a long time, like when there's been a complete peace, and like hopefully the future, it will be brighter and there'll be peace, because
Absolutely.
I wanna visit Afghanistan. And another thing about Afghanistan, like it's filled with mountains and it's filled with like beautiful nature.
Absolutely.
And then it's filled with people with drive. Like in my opinion, if Afghans had the chance, they would be very dominant in combat sports. I think they would be dominant in
But
wrestling.
they're not being isolated and everything because of politics.
Yeah, because of the politics, they can't do it. But they have like such a good like training environment there. Like I think they would dominate wrestling, they will dominate taekwondo, and they will dominate MMA.
And what do you think about it? I mean, there's a few names that keep popping up in the MMA scene, though.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was the guy in the UFC, Basharat.
Yes, the brothers.
The brothers, right?
Brothers.
Are they from Sweden or Germany? I'm not sure. Where are they located from?
Right now they train in the US.
Yeah.
But I don't think like that's. I'm not sure actually if that's where they are located like full time.
Yeah.
I think they just train there
in the US. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they train with Aljamain Sterling's camp.
Oh, okay. So New York, right?
No, I think the other camp, the Las Vegas.
Oh, the Las Vegas camp. Okay,
because Aljamain Sterling moves around.
Is it Couture? What was the gym called?
Extreme Couture.
Extreme Couture, right?
I think so. Yeah, maybe.
We'll look it up later.
Yeah, we will look it up.
But yeah, those are at least a few names that keep popping up.
Yeah, those are two. Then there's Nasrat Hakparast. He's from Germany.
He's legit.
But I think he also trains in US.
Yeah.
And then...
What division is he in, by the way?
He's lightweight, so 70 kilos.
70 kilos, okay.
Yeah.
He's not in the top 10 yet, right?
No, but he has fought Dan Hooker, for example, who has been like ranked for ages.
Yeah, gatekeeper.
Dan Hooker, like, he was clearly better, but it wasn't like he didn't run him over.
Yeah,
It was
not
like,
a piece of cake.
Yeah, it wasn't a piece of cake.
But like, because when we talked about how there has been constant conflict in Afghanistan, I wonder if this has played a factor in, developing that grit and that hardiness in the people. Yeah. And that's why they also tend to excel in these combat sports.
I think so.
Because I can think of other regions, whether it's Iran or, the Caucasus Mountains, Georgia, Armenia. You've got also on the opposite side, Chechnya, Dagestan, all these areas. They are, a pool of just these, sorry to say, but genetic freaks as well, Yeah. They're beasts who have unlimited cardio and that will not to surrender. They just keep pummeling and pummeling.
Yeah.
And that's pretty impressive. And maybe that constant stress has pushed, specific groups of people to develop these specific sets of skills. Yeah,
I think so too. I think like genetics do play a big role in this, in every sport actually. But like you can tell like which type of fighters have which type of genetics. Like we tend to rely on toughness and those kind of things. but then you got like other people who might have a better like athletic genetics, like for example the Africans who are very fast and
Fast
strong,
twitch.
yeah, very fast twitch,
Yeah.
like and then you can have different type of genetics like the Georgians, like the Merabs, who's a cardio machine who
Yeah.
never runs out of gas, but he's not like that fast, or it's not, he doesn't have like,
He's a marathon fighter.
yeah, he's
right?
a marathon
Yeah,
fighter.
yeah.
And then you got the Holloway who like he's meant to fight, like
Yeah.
he won't crack, he
Yeah.
can fight anybody, and he
That's
won't
crazy.
fall down.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, which brings me to my next question. Do you have future aspirations to go abroad and fight at another organization at some point?
Yes, of course. So for me, I train a lot, and this sport, like, it's the type of sport that I don't think it pays you, like, if you just kind of want to try, like, dip your toes in. It's not like very rewarding sport. For me, this sport is like, it takes so much sacrifices, so it's much smarter just to aim to the top, to the UFC. Like right now I have very good like situation with Cage. I'm signed with them. Like I will have at least 2 more fights with them, and I want to have them both this year, so Cage 63 and 64. But
That's late in autumn and Christmas.
yes, it's in September and I think November. Yeah.
Oh, you're pretty active then in that case.
Yeah, I like, this is the beginning of my professional career, so I like to just build my name immediately, and hopefully, like, I want to be active in future too. But in future, obviously, there's like a little bit more. You have to be a little bit smarter with negotiating and things like that. But
you don't want to be a pawn on the chessboard where
yeah,
promoters just sort of pick you and do whatever they want with you.
Yeah,
you want to call your own shots as well.
Yes, exactly. But like, there's other good international organizations as well besides UFC, like PFL, Cage Warriors, One Championships, Bellator. So there's and right now there's like
has Bellator been acquired yet by, or was it vice versa by PFL?
Yeah,
I've heard there's going to be some merging or something.
Yeah, there was actually merging.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. They work together.
So they're still in talks. It hasn't.
No, they had their first event, I think.
Oh, okay. So their pool of fighters and their pool of fighters are now practically in the same basket.
And I think it was like their first card was like PFL fighters versus Bellator fighters.
That's pretty cool, actually.
I don't remember which way was it, but like it was like a ridiculous score. Like one side won like every match except one.
PFL or Bellator, guys?
I can't remember which way was it, but it was like a dominant, like the one organization had clearly much better names.
Man, PFL is doing good for themselves.
PFL, they're doing very good. Like they have PFL, they have the PFL US, PFL Europe, like for different continents, and then they have the $1 million tournaments. Like it's amazing what they're doing for, like for an organization that's not as big as UFC.
What about One FC? I heard there was some rumors that they were going to shut down their MMA section. I heard just somewhere in the fringe corners of the internet, but I don't know if it has any weight to it. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I just heard the exact same rumor, so I don't know if it's
true. And I hope not, because they have some entertaining guys.
Yeah, they have entertaining guys, but if I'm being honest, the only MMA guy that I watch from them religiously, like I don't want to miss his fight, is Demetrius Johnson. Course,
who can miss out on DJ? DJ.
The rest I kind of watch, like if there's not a good UFC card, I'll watch it.
That's my boy Abdul's favorite fighter, actually.
Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah.
That's also my good. His favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Low-key
because
fanboy.
Demetrius Johnson is actually my good friend's Abdul's also.
Really?
Yeah, his name is like, do you know Abba?
Of course.
Yeah, his name is Abdul. His favorite fighter is Demetrius Johnson.
That you mentioned. We got two Abduls actually who
Yeah,
are
yeah.
big fans of DJ. Damn, and
I'm also. He's not my number one, but
yeah.
like he's like
But when it comes to skill set, he's
exactly like he has
he's a
like,
computer.
and what he's doing, like he's started just doing side missions. Like he had that special fight, that Muay Thai round, MMA
That
round,
was a
Muay
cool
Thai.
fight. Yeah.
That was cool. And then he went in and won like the Masters Jiu-Jitsu World Championship.
Gi, right?
Yes, with
Yeah,
Gi
yeah. I saw
for
some,
MMA
yeah.
guy. And now he won the Pan Americans. He won double gold, I think. So
No gi.
no, Gi.
Okay.
He won his own weight class, and he went to the open weight class and won it as well. And I think it's the final match where he had like a guy who weighed like 120 pounds more than him.
It's crazy to think because if I remember his story correctly, he started training MMA actually quite late.
Yeah,
like early 20s or something like that, and he just picked it up like this.
Yeah, you can tell like for him, he's like that. The genetic advantages that we were talking about is his brain.
Yeah.
Like
he just absorbs data.
Yes,
like a sponge.
Yeah, like he is very good, like figuring movements out, figuring patterns, and like that. And he can like the gi tournaments just prove that it's not only MMA. Like he can figure out also Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
I wonder if he has any form of like mental diagnosis. Because I've noticed that some people who have, for example, ADHD, they tend to hyper focus on things, and if they find they might find it difficult to focus on other things, but if they find something to focus on, they really, really veer into it.
Yeah.
And DJ gives me that vibe, when it comes to fighting. Because how do you start? He was working, I think, in warehouses,
in construction
and stuff in his early 20s, and then he decided to pick up MMA just as a hobby, and then he's like, hey, I can make a living out of this. And actually be a killer.
And he actually kept working in the construction during the start of his UFC career. Then at some point he was like, okay, I can't become a champion while working, so he quit the job.
Now that you mentioned this, though, that this is maybe my only concern if you do end up going to, let's say, the UFC, that if guys like DJ have to work on the side to make a living while fighting, I wonder if the payment system is actually sufficient enough to support high-level fighters such as yourself.
Well, there's been like that talk that does UFC pay well or not. But in my opinion, the thing is that there's the minimum pay is so high for a fighter that nobody has ever heard of. Of course, when Ben Askren fought there, or Justin Gaethje fought their first match, or somebody else who had already a high status name
from another organization,
exactly, like they have a better pay. But what they pay for somebody that they have never heard about, it's such a big upgrade. And I think the thing is that one thing that stands out from this influencer scene, if it's growing in Finland as well, is that fighters clearly can't make themselves interesting enough for people. So the ones
a select few.
A select few. The ones that can make themselves like interesting to people, whether it's good or bad, they never complain about the pay. It's the ones that like can't get
just on the sides and
so I think the fighters have to take a little bit of accountability from that. Like sometimes it's not that the UFC is paying you too little. Sometimes it's just like either you're not fighting enough, people don't care about your fights, or like you probably are just like a new guy in the roster who hasn't like really built his name up.
I actually saw that in the press conference in Ice Cage. I think Alexei Nurminen called out his fellow, the rest of the guys that were sitting down on the press conference table. He's like, hey guys, come on, throw some banter, make it spicy, make it interesting. Because they were just basically being very polite, which, nothing wrong with that. But as we know, the pop MMA scene, they tend to want to see a lot of tension and drama. even though it might seem sort of falsified and just like acted, but still, you know, it is an entertaining sport after all.
Yeah, and that's like me. Like naturally, I'm not like a shit talker or a drama builder, but I also know that this sport that I'm involved in, it's part of the entertainment business, and so if if I can't entertain the people, I'm not gonna complain to the people like, why are you not watching me? Like I deserve more views and like that. Like you like there's plenty of examples that you don't have to actually talk shit to sell your fights.
Yeah.
For example, like Khabib, like he had a tough time to get to the big paydays, but if you just beat everybody up, eventually people are gonna like want to see you like watch your like how does he keep beating everybody up?
But even when he started to, you know, shit talk, it he did it in his own, you know, way. You know, he was quite entertaining to see him, you know, go back and forth with other fighters. And come up with nicknames, you know, McChicken or whatever. Or I think, was it McChicken? I'm not sure if it was him or Tony Ferguson that made that one up. But yeah, but I know what you mean. That some guys just need to. If you're gonna complain, you might as well, you know, do something about it. You know, just sit down and complain.
Yeah.
What actually happened with your? I'm not sure if you. I saw you, I think, on an interview on Ice Cage, but did you actually end up fighting there?
So, the first Ice Cage, which was held in December, I was supposed to have my professional MMA debut, there, against the guy that I actually had my professional MMA debut later against Otto Saari. So Otto had a fight in November, and he had told Max that if he comes out from that healthy, he can fight in Ice Cage as well. So we were supposed to fight there, but then it turns out that he had some damage in his last sparring before his match in Hamara. So now he had to cancel the fight, and then Max started searching a new opponent for me. He didn't find anybody. Then he was like, well, I got a lot of offers from guys who want to box. So if you're down to box, I can offer you a boxing match. I was like, okay, let's do it. And then he found a guy who had said that he had boxed for 2 years, but he hadn't competed. And then he was like, this is gonna be a good guy for you. Like you are a grappler, you're an MMA fighter, so boxing is not really your thing. This guy,
but you can box.
He was like, this guy has boxed for 2 years, but he hasn't competed. So it's not like he's gonna kill you or anything. So then he makes that fight happen. We had our the interview or the press conference, whatever you want to call it. Back then it wasn't as big as this last Ice Cage. So, but afterwards, Max asked every fighter on the card to send some footage from training, some pad work, some sparring, and things like that. And then on the fight week, when he had my opponent's footage, he realized even if he had trained for 2 years, it didn't seem like those were too serious years. It might been a little bit on and off training. He wasn't as experienced as Max.
It's a smart way to assess if anybody's qualified.
So then he messaged me I don't want to make any fights that the level in skill are too far apart. So I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. And then he took me out the card and replaced me with this guy called Splashy. That's his artist name. His real name is
Is he a rapper or what?
Yeah, he's a rapper now. And
now, what was he before?
Well, I'm gonna get to that part.
Okay, yeah.
So this guy Splashy, he ends up winning the match, and he just fought in Ice Cage 2 as well.
Yeah.
In Ice Cage 1, he fought boxing, and in Ice Cage 2 he fought kickboxing. In Ice Cage 2 he also won his match, and then
He called you out, or
he called me out,
Nah, did
and
he? Okay,
and he
he's-
was
yeah,
like,
actually.
I want to call out Lamar.
Yeah.
Because I had my first fight against him, because actually me and him, he used to be an MMA fighter. So
Okay. Yeah. Oh.
So me and him had our first fight against each
like
other,
way back.
2017.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
years ago, actually.
So he was like,
So he wants to have another dance.
yeah, but he wants to do it in kickboxing now. And
So what's the verdict?
so
Are you in?
yeah, I'm like,
Okay, alright.
I'm like, I'm down.
Let's go.
If Max is down to book it, I'm
Yeah.
down. But the only thing
What
that
could be what could hold it back?
so after the fight when he called me out, I was in the backstage warming up with Abba because his fight was next.
Yeah.
So
Great fight.
yeah, when I found out about the call out, it like he had already left the cage. So I was like, okay, that guy called me out. Then when we were walking to the cage with Abba and they were walking back, I asked him like, did you call me out? He was like, yeah, but forget about it. And I was like, why did he call me out if he wants me to forget about it?
Yeah.
And then later I found out that the guy he fought, when he called me out, the guy who fought, he grabbed the mic and he was like, no, I want my rematch. I want my rematch.
Ah. Okay.
Because he didn't believe that, he didn't agree with the judge's decision.
Ugh.
But I haven't seen the fight. I have seen only one moment where Splashy knocks down the opponent.
Mm.
So I'm not the right person to ask who won the fight.
Yeah.
But like, if you think about, I don't know how even the
What it looks
scoring
like.
works in kickboxing, but if you think about boxing scoring, isn't that a 10-8 round for Splashy then? So
Yeah.
technically, if the other guy won the two next round, it should be a draw, not a win.
Mm.
But anyways, after like the day after the event, when Ice Cage started to put some material on Instagram, then there was a lot of questions. Do you want the rematch and like that? So the only thing that could possibly hold that back if people want to see the rematch more than like their rematch more than our rematch. But obviously they haven't seen our first match either because we were nobodies back then.
How did it go, by the way? The first match.
I won by unanimous decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's his background though? Like, is it just MMA?
Yeah, it's just MMA. I
Okay.
think.
He doesn't have any specialty.
No.
Per se. He's pretty decently well rounded.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't think he has any actually at that time he didn't have, but now he's been training, I think, Muay Thai. At least he had like the Deos Muay Thai team with him
Okay, he's
in his
training with
corner.
them. Oh, he's training with them.
With Maga and Abdi Fatah, if you know those guys, they are very
I'm
good.
acquainted at least.
Yeah. So he has a good team around him, a good Muay Thai team around him.
And you wouldn't mind to do it in kickboxing or Muay Thai either, right?
No, I'm down for Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing. The only thing, obviously, I would be down for MMA too, but the only thing,
Cage, right?
yeah, not only that, but also because he has only one amateur fight, which was with me, and then let's say after when the next one comes, I have won two more cage fights. Then I'm like 3-1 as a professional, and I would fight against a 0-0 fighter with one amateur fight. So 0-1 in amateurs and 0-0 in professionals. There's nothing really to gain from that. But in striking fights, in boxing, he won Ice Cage 1. In kickboxing, he won in Ice Cage 2. So in that I can, and I have never had a kickboxing match. So in that department, I have something to gain at least from the fight.
Have you currently you're training in with the Sisu guys, or?
Yes,
Okay.
like we do a lot of like training together.
That up, actually.
So like in Sisu,
Where is that, by the way?
it's in Järvenpää.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that.
Yeah. So Sisu Gym, Espoon Kehähai, we do a lot of work together, and then we also like to go like on Saturdays. I like to go to spar in GB gym or in Loop. So
Loop, that's in
that's in
Pitäjänmäki,
yes,
right? Yeah.
Pitäjänmäki. So there's like the good thing about living here is that we
You go by car?
No, I go by public transport.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit time, but I don't mind.
Respect.
Yeah, but like that's what I like about living there here, that we can combine every gym's best guys to work together to push each other.
Yeah, I saw you were putting in some work at Espo as well.
Yeah, I like a lot of to train there and in Sisu, and then I like to go spar to GB or Loop. So it's like I like to have like plenty of different like bodies to train with.
Also, because it gives you a fresh perspective, you can learn new things from this person, or you're not used to the to new rhythms, perhaps.
Yeah.
So you have to acclimate to those circumstances. Have you trained abroad?
Yeah, I have trained for a week in All Star Stockholm.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was that was cool because
is the gym like that same gym that's like underground?
No, it was a new, like very nice gym. Yeah, so big, and it looked so like
their brand is growing in popularity, right?
Yeah, like you could tell, like they had their professional MMA group, but they also had like.
Are they trained separately?
Yeah, the professionals. Well, we also trained with the professionals when we were visiting. Back then, I was an amateur, but we trained with the professional group. But then they also have like the people who bring the money to the gym. You know, like the casual trainers who likes to use the gym or likes to roll or likes to hit the back. So like it was like.
I mean, those are also the ones that support the community.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
props to them.
Yeah, props to them, and it was like you could tell that what Gustafsson and Hamzat and what they have done in their UFC career, they have also like given All Star like a big brand. Now everybody who goes to visit Stockholm, if you have done some type of combat training, you want to go train there.
Did you end up crossing paths with any of those two?
So with Kamsat, Gustafsson wasn't there. Kamsat was at the start of the week. He was in London, but the end of the week he came back. So he took a picture with us, and like.
But he wasn't training or anything.
He was training, but he trains in his own group. With like he grabbed a few giants with him, and he was like, "I'm gonna train with them," and the rest of guys trained on their own. But I got to train with Volkan Ozdemir.
Really?
Yeah, he's an UFC fighter. Then I got to train.
He's huge.
And then I got to train with a guy from PFL. That then there was a Glory kickboxer also. So there was other big names as well.
I'm surprised you met Volkan because I thought he was Swiss and not Swedish.
Yeah, but he trains in All Stars.
Oh, so he lives there then?
Yeah, he lives there, but I don't know if he lives like a year around.
Okay.
But at least when he has a camp coming up, he's there, and he like.
Pretty neat, bro. Is Kamzat as big as they say he is?
He is quite
like
big.
His frame.
Yeah, like he's not like a bodybuilder big, but he has like a fighter's frame, like
long limbs,
thick back, and like you can tell from his
dense bones.
Dense bones, big palms, and like big skull. And, like you can tell, like he has like the important weight, not like something to hold him back. And he's like quite lean, so that's why I'm surprised how he gets to the 77 kg. Because when we were there, I think he was probably 90 plus. But he wasn't like fat. So how do you get from there to 77? I don't know, but they are willing to.
But he's got the aura, right?
Yeah.
When he walks in, you can actually feel the presence.
Yeah,
but he was still a humble guy, or
he doesn't. he surprised me so much because he didn't seem like that fight week Hamzat. He was so like chill and
Mm.
joke, like he loves to joke around with everybody.
Yeah, playful.
Yeah,
playful
very
fella.
playful.
Yeah.
Like when we were the team Finland, we had 10 guys training there from
Was
team
Abba
Finland.
with you guys as well, I think?
Well,
Did
sorry?
Abba go with you?
Yeah,
Yeah, because
me,
I remember Abba went there. At
Yeah.
least I heard from his brother, yeah.
me, Abba, the Omar Tukarev, who's also a very talented
Yeah,
fighter.
good kid. Good kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think 3 kids from Imatra, a few guys from 3 or 4 guys from Helsinki as well.
Is
So-
it so the MMA league? So did they finance it? The union?
No,
Or you
no.
have to pay
Yeah.
for it by yourself. Okay.
By ourselves. There's some guys, some guys got sponsorships, but not from the Finnish MMA Federation.
Yeah.
Like just some, maybe their friends or whoever has a little bit of extra money to help them. So they got sponsors, but most of us paid it from our own pocket. So, and that's how it actually works in Finland. Like in Finland, MMA doesn't get really that much financial support. Like all the money comes from sponsors, and if you don't have sponsors, you pay from your own pocket.
Hey, you man's got to do what he's got to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's something that holds us back a little bit, but when like it doesn't mean that you can make it, because Finland has had so like quite many UFC fighters, and like you just have to be focused on the goal, making it to the UFC, and then once you get your name to the UFC, like sponsors are gonna be interested, and a lot of brands are gonna be interested, and obviously the UFC fighter base pays much better, so there's not as much need for sponsors as there is when you are fighting locally.
Yeah, of course.
But like so when we were in Finland and not in Finland, in Sweden, and we just met Kamsat, it was the first interaction, but he was just like roasting us and joking with everybody. So I was kind of surprised, like he didn't want to like he didn't shy away from anything. Like he was like, yeah, let's like there are some fans, let's have some banter with them. It was fun actually. Volkan is a little bit more like a shy guy. Like with him, we just took the picture. Okay, thank you. See you around.
He's a huge guy, though. I'm surprised he's actually pretty shy.
He's a giant.
Looks
like
massive.
Like I didn't get to spar with him in a stand up, but
You rolled?
Yeah, I rolled with him in the grappling. But one of our guy from Team Finland sparred with him in stand up, and he's a good striker.
Yeah, he is.
But no, I mean the guy from Finland.
Oh, okay.
Juho
Okay.
Suvanto. He's a good striker, but he told me like man, that Volkan guy,
He can hit.
like he like his punches feels different than anything. And I was like, God damn it, like the like I understand why he knocks everybody out in UFC.
Man, those weight classes, seriously, different breed. But my guy, listen, truly appreciate that you pulled through for the show.
Of
Again,
course.
I'm really, really happy that actually I haven't done an MMA episode since Eddie Walls probably was here last time. So this is the second MMA Pioneers episode.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that you
No,
made
I'm
the
honored
time.
to be here.
And again, I would love to have you back.
Yes, sir.
I feel like this was a bit. This was it was a good introductory phase.
Yeah.
Just so that the crowd gets to know you.
Yes.
And also, you're very proficient in English, so I can see how you will thrive when you go abroad and you do
Thank you,
these
bro.
interviews. And seriously, but if you got any message for the listeners, where they can reach out to you, how they can follow you, or whatever.
Yeah, so you can reach out and follow me on Instagram, Lema Ross. In TikTok, it's the same Lema Ross, but just add another S. And final message would be just follow my career and support us fighters. Watch our fights, follow us. Try try to give us a spotlight if you can, because I feel like MMA in Finland is not like it's going up, but it's not going at the same pace as the rest of the world, because the people for some reason doesn't support it as much as we wished.
Yeah, like for Finland, they tend to take it easy and see
Yeah.
how other countries are doing it first, and then
Yeah,
they will maybe take the risk.
yeah, exactly. That's what it.
But my guy, really appreciate it.
Thank
and,
you very much for the invite.
No, I got you, my guy. I would like to thank, of course, my man Joe, without whom this wouldn't be possible. Thank you so much. He's my partner in crime, we can say. And till next time, guys, just tune in.